Hi, I'm Judy, and I'm going to show you how to do a front reinforced torso rebozo. This is a really fantastic carry to do with newborns. I actually think it's better in some ways than a kangaroo carry. It's easier to get everything tightened up across the newborn's back so it provides the correct support. And it's not as fiddly as a kangaroo. The only tricky thing with a front reinforced torso rebozo is, well, A, saying the name, but also the slip knot at the end. But you can completely skip the slip knot and just do a regular square knot. So let's get started. This is a 3.2 meter wrap. And I'm going to start it off with a short end over one shoulder. And I leave, I don't know, maybe about a foot and a half. It just hangs down to about my waist. And I'm going to bring this around the front. Oops. Then come under my arm and go across my back and bring it over. So at this point it kind of looks like an off-centered front wrap cross carry. It'll change a little bit after that. So now you're ready to get your baby. Okay, so you get your baby, you put your baby over your shoulder, then you reach underneath the pocket, grab their feet and bottom with one hand. With the other hand, bring the top rail up while you gently lower the baby down. Bring the rail all the way up to their neck. And then you're going to get a good seat. Make sure they're well seated so that their knees are higher than their bottom. So I take all this extra here and I'm just going to tuck it up in between the baby and myself. So he has a good seat from one knee to the other. Now I can tighten. I just do a little tightening on this side. I'm going to take the top rail here and just pull a little bit to snug that up. Now I'm going to work with my long tail. I'm going to bring this around and under my arm. And I'm going to tighten the top tail here. And then just work through each piece of the wrap, each section, so that it's nice and snug. All the slack is taken out of here. And I have a little more slack here, so I'm going to pull on the bottom a little bit more. Then I'm going to take this side and make sure the slack is taken out as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck this bottom rail. I'm going to keep it snug and I'm going to tuck it under his bottom all the way across. I'm going to pull the top rail across and then I'm going to gather the fabric so I have it all bunched up here together and I'm still keeping the tension. Now I'm ready to tie my slip knot. Again, making sure all the tension, or excuse me, all the slack is taken out. I'm ready for my slip knot. So I take the longer tail, go over, and come up, and I'm going to tie a half knot here. Still holding on to this bottom piece, I take the long one, flip it over my wrist, bring it under, and then tuck it through. And there's your slip knot, and I can go ahead and tighten this up and tighten here. And there you have your front reinforced torso rebozo. It's nice and snug up against me. It provides a lot of support. His knees are higher than his bottom. You can see that the tension is, there's good support here through his back. He has a good curve through there. He's not slumped at all. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to adjust this particular carry. If the bottom layer is a little bit loose, you can see that this layer, this is the bottom layer, is a little loose. So what I do is I take the top layer here, and I'm going to follow the slack around to the back. And I'm just pulling it through here. I'm now pulling it through on the bottom layer. Pulling that around. And then I'm going to pull here on this section. This is still the top rail. I'm just following that around. I hold it with my chin, and now I'm going to find the top rail in my slip knot here. And I'm going to pull that and tighten it up. You see how that slack got brought out? So now this is tighter. It's harder to do on the bottom because you have to undo some of the tucking. So really when you are doing the carry, you really want to make sure you do a good job of getting the bottom nice and snug and all the slack out, because the bottom is going to be much harder to fix and adjust. The top is easier to do, as you can see. The bottom, not so much. If your carry gets a little uncomfortable, if you need to lower the baby to nurse or anything, you just pull the knot down and you can loosen it, and then when you're done, you just pull it back up. That's it. Thank you so much.